to live.
Yes, live.
Live.
Welcome to the Ref Room.
Hockey talk for parents, players, coaches, and fans.
Text everyone you know. Facebook, chat, tweet, buzz, bling. I don't know. Just do what you have to do.
This is the Ref Room with Scott and Brad.
Come on, come on, come on. It's about to go down.
The Ref Room starts right now.
Yes, it does. It starts absolutely right now. Welcome, everybody, to another week of the Ref Room. I am Scott Smokin Silz, coming to you from Logan Square in Chicago, and joined by my counterpart in crime here, Mr. Brad Baumruck. What's going on, my friend? How are you?
Not much. How are you? But I am wearing some winter gear today.
Yeah.
It's finally cold out in Chicago because I like the cold, so I'm just celebrating. So nobody likes my hat. I don't care.
Did you get any snow out there?
Yeah, we got a light dusting. So
yeah, we
not
did
a lot,
too.
Nothing
Just
to write home about.
Little trace amount. So I think that's our white Christmas. That's what we're going to see because it's supposed to warm up.
There you
again.
go.
So lots to talk about today, everybody. We've got a lot of hockey news to catch up on because there's some good news on the horizon. I know it's hard to believe, not just because things are starting to shake up here, but, there is definite talk and rumblings that we could be seeing some hockey in January here in Chicago. I don't know if I believe it all, but that's what I'm hearing. So we're going to kind of talk about that today because, we're seeing a lot of stuff in the news. I mean, look at the NHL. The NHL is still struggling to come back, which they can't decide if they're going to have to go to the bubble and, work out all the salary arrangements and all that good stuff. So normally they follow the NBA, and the NBA is pretty much like going here. So, hockey's falling a little bit behind. You got any thoughts on that, Brad?
Well, Scott, like we discussed before the show, the rosters are very different. And I did a little research beforehand. And, the NHL, they can dress 20 per game. And then the NBA, they can dress 8. And their active roster is 17.
Wait,
and the
they
NHL's
only dress
active
8
roster
players?
is 23.
They dress 8 players.
They can dress, according to what I found, but that's, I am not the best on basketball knowledge, but
wow, I
what
have
it looked
zero
like.
knowledge on basketball, so I'm just amazed by that.
Or maybe it was 17, or I'm not too good. It's just, the big part about it is you're dealing with a lot of players. Size difference. 20 guys versus even if it's 15, you're looking at 5 players per team. It's 150 names. If you got 30 teams, so. I think that's the biggest issue that the NHL faces. And then, I don't think these guys want to do a bubble again. If you look at,
I'm sure they don't, but the reality of it is, they're making a lot of money, maybe not by comparison to what basketball makes, but they're making a lot of money, and they only have so many years to play. So I don't think they want to lose a season. For some of the guys, if they lose a season, their career could be over. This could be your last season if you're up there in your early to mid 30s and you're thinking, I only got like a season or 2 left and, I'm on the bubble here. I sure wouldn't want to lose that. That's their retirement money, even if they're not making big money. It's still, it's several $100,000 even for a poorly paid player. I don't know what the league minimum is anymore, but, anybody that's played for a few years probably making at least $400,000 or $500,000 a year. That's still good money. They're not going to make that in the real world probably when they come out. So they need to save their money. It's going to be tough on these guys.
No, I agree with you. Look at what happened with the NHL lockout. There were quite a few players, they locked out and they never came back just because
exactly
they couldn't get their feet back under them. And I think also once you start hitting your mid 30s or even 40s in the NHL. My kid is in here. That's hilarious. He just commented.
Nice. Ethan, let's put him up. We got to give him a little pub because he lets Dad out for an hour and a half on Wednesdays. So
he's supposed to be in school right now. I hope he realizes that. But anyways, no. But
he is in school. No. He's learning the real world here.
Yeah.
That's what he's getting some real education on hockey.
No, but the NHL lockout. You had that, and I think. Even in your later years, too, of playing, you're getting beaten up every day. And, I think it might actually become kind of nice that you're able to be at home and be with the family and just kind of hang out. So I think they lost some players, due to that because of age and might have it happen again here.
Jeff, I couldn't agree with you more. He says there's no earthly reason to have any knowledge of basketball. That is absolutely correct. Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. We have our first winner of the day.
Well, we were just talking about it. You know, it's something worthwhile to look into for a little bit and at least get some sort of little basic knowledge. And, you know, I read it real quick as we were loading up. So that's what I have. If somebody knows a little bit more about basketball, throw it in there. But that's the biggest thing I see. You got a lot of players underneath the collective bargaining agreements in one sport and very less in another sport. It'd be like comparing football to ice hockey.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, trying to get all those players in line is way harder than the NHL.
Yeah, I don't know how they're able to do it. I mean, that is a big roster, a lot of staff, a lot of coaches. You know, I don't know. I would have to guess they got to have at least 75 to 100 people around them at all times. And that's much tougher to control, obviously, than like a basketball team that maybe has 15 or 20 guys traveling with it. You know, maybe a little bit more than that, but I can't imagine more than 25 guys. They can get on a small plane. But, yeah.
That's true.
Now, we got a lot of other stuff going on here because, guys, we are now in the middle of December. And for all you that are referees, I know a lot of you guys have not completed yet. You're incomplete. So
big issue.
Show of hands from all the people that are out there right now. If you could put in the comments, give me a 1 in the comments if you've completed, and give me a 2 in the comments if you have not completed. A 1 if you've completed, and a 2 if you have not completed. Are you a 1? You got your crest? I am a 1. I have my crest. I am ready to go. I got my crest. Now, I will tell you guys, it's going to be tough. Pat Sullivan says he's a 2. He hasn't completed yet. Pat, you need to complete. Guys, you are going to be looking at probably 5 days at least. Marty Tong is a 1. He's done. We got Facebook users. Heather is a 1. Good. She's all complete. Good to see you on the show, Heather. And Marty. Marty, you got to come up with a story because we're getting ready to do the referees show next week. And that means you get to tell men's league stories. And I'm counting on Marty to come up with at least a story or 2 from men's league because he is the master. Somebody says, I've got till March 15th. I don't think you really do. I think hockey is going to try to open here sometime in January. I really do believe that. That's the rumors I'm hearing. There's rumblings out there that they're going to try to play some hockey, at least get started in Illinois. Now, for those of you that have not completed, you got a couple things. One, it's going to take a week to get screened. If you haven't put in for the screening yet, so if you're trying to complete, at least get the screening done now so that you can, the tests you could probably get through and get the grades in a couple of days, but the screening's going to take a week. So you're probably a week to 2 weeks away from comfortably saying, I'm ready to go. And if they open, you can't work. It's that simple. So, you're not doing yourself any favors. And believe me, if it opens, it's going to open wide up. And that means within 24 hours of them saying we're good to go, there's going to be a lot of games played because they've got the ice time already. They've got it for practice. It's a matter of making a phone call. I don't care who they play. It's like, we're playing, and things will open wide up. So guess what? They're going to need refs. And guys, if you haven't completed, you're not working. It's that simple.
Well, Scott, you're forgetting something else too. If hockey gives the okay, how many other sports are going to give the okay at the same time? And, that screening process, that's used by quite a few different organizations. So if everybody says yes on, let's say tomorrow, the 17th, and everybody's going to be playing, if they say yes tomorrow at noon, there will be games tomorrow night. I can guarantee it.
Yeah.
But then everybody's going to scramble.
I think if they said at noon, I think we'd have games that night. I really do believe that the text messages will be coming with TBAs of need a ref. Hope you're complete.
Well, I think that's, like I said, if sports start to all go at the same time, which I think once a couple major ones decide to just go with it, I think everybody else is going to start to go too, because now you got nothing else going on. Everybody wants to play, so just keep that in mind, because you're not just thinking of hockey. This company screens people for various reasons. So just keep
I
that
didn't really
in mind
think
when
about
you're
that.
doing
I'm
it.
thinking it's USA Hockey, and you make a very, very good point there because this is like a national organization that screens. So you're going to be dealing with football, basketball, every other sport that wants to get taken care of.
And with USA Hockey, also remember, Scott, because this is a new screening process as well. You know, people get flagged for various reasons that are out of your control. It sometimes it's just an error where they skip trace and they get an error, and you have to personally respond to everything that they throw at you. So that can add more days. And imagine if, you know, there's an error with several people that put in for it, you know, there's, you know, 150 people that all get flagged at the same time. Well,
point.
you know, that committee has to then sort through how many people and say, well, this is wrong, this is right, this is the wrong person. And they clear all that up. They're thorough. Like they don't mess around with it. And I don't think they should. So just keep that in mind too. Everything can hinder you as you go here. That screening's the number one. Number two is the open book test. You know, it's fairly simple at all the levels this year. Luckily, I've talked to a lot of people. They said it was, you know, simple at the level 3. The level 4 I thought was simple. There were a couple wording issues that, you know, I had to reread it 3 or 4 times. And I just think that's because it's tough to put an online test together last minute. This was, you know, if you're looking at it on paper, it looks differently with the you know, the bubble right there instead of seeing it all in multiple choice every time. And it gets difficult. So number one, get that through, which luckily that's instant.
If you're a level 3, you've got to get 45 out of 50. And, you know, you got to count on there's probably 2 questions out there that are going to be tricky, 2 or 3 that you're going to go, not sure about this because of the wording or whatever, you know. But the reality of it is there's usually 2 or 3 stumbles there. That doesn't leave you a lot of room for, you know, for any kind of error. I forget, how many days do you have to wait before you can retake the test? You have to wait 7 days, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So,
7 days if you don't pass.
Yeah,
but
so another delay. And
well, that's if you don't pass.
Right.
But the good part about it is when you do that, though, let's say you got 44 right, you only have to take the 6 questions again, from what I've been told, that you got wrong. So you don't have
and
to.
that means you only have to pass 1 or 2 of the 6 questions, because you only need to pass the 1 or 2 to get to the 45.
You are correct, but I would think after you got it wrong and they give you the review, you'd take notes on the review and pay attention and learn it so that you pass it the second time around. But
absolutely
not everybody.
Well, you don't want to risk the one question that you checked you could still be wrong on, and you end up in a bad spot, because if you fail that thing twice, I think you're toast, aren't you?
You know what? I don't know. I don't know anybody that's ever failed twice.
Do we have anybody out there that's ever failed twice? I don't know. Okay.
I honestly don't know, because I've never heard of. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody failing twice.
Yeah.
I mean, I have heard about people dropping from level 4 to level 2 because of their closed book test.
That's a lot more common than you think. I had a younger official that was going for level 4 this year, and he told me he struggled on the test, and he's now a level 2. It happens. I know some senior officials, or more senior officials that have had that happen to them, and it's tough, man. I my heart goes out to you. I mean, you have all the skills, you can skate, you can do everything, and you get tricked up. I mean, you still got to focus on this. It can be a little tough. Somebody says you go back to level 1. Gary, I don't know about going back to level 1, man. I mean, I suppose I think I heard if you put in for, like, if you're registering, and let's say you're registering to be a 3, and you don't do everything as a 3, but let's say you go and try to get a 4 out of it somehow, that if you don't make everything align in the 3 category, you could get bounced down to a 1 in that situation. I think there's something that goes back to that.
That one I can explain. Okay, so
cool.
So let's say you go to USA Hockey and you have a senior moment, and you think that you want to be a level 4, and you click on the level 4 test or the level 4 registration at the beginning before your local area seminars are out. and you click it as a level 4, and you pay USA Hockey and all that, and you do your open book and your modules, and at this point now, our closed book. But let's go back to reality before this, and you'd be getting a paper test at your seminar. Well, when you start to look, your local doesn't offer any level 4 seminars that you can attend, right? So you go, the heck with it. And so you just take a level 3 seminar. Well, if you registered as a 4 with USA Hockey and took a level 3 seminar in your local, wherever you're taking it, or throughout the country or whatever, if those don't match up, that you took the same closed book test as what you registered for, you go back down to a level 1.
Wow.
It's a registration error.
Yeah.
So be very careful.
Happens.
I mean, well, and it happens too. You fat finger the key. So just every once in a while, make sure that you can do it.
So Jeff says he thought you go back to the highest level that your test score qualifies you for. No. I know guys that have taken the 4 that have come out of there as a 2, because you're only allowed. You have to get 40 out of 50 to be a 4. If for those of you that haven't taken the 4, I'm not giving anything away here. I'm just going to tell you that it's a different kind of test. It's not a true-false test. There are scenarios, and an example would be like 601. If you don't know the 601 rule backwards and forwards, you're probably not going to miss 1 or 2. You're probably going to miss 5 or 6 questions, because they're grouped in scenarios of these rules. So it's a lot tougher than you think. And, if there's one rule that you're not sure of, you could have a major stumble. Luck of the draw, I guess, depending on what the questions are or what the group of rules is that you're seeing on that test. But it's no joke. That test is pretty tough. As far as the written goes, I think, the level 3 is a little bit easier because it's more of a true false scenario, or, A, B, C, D versus, like match them 1 through 8. These are your scenarios and your choices on the rules, and you got to come up with all the answers on this. And it's really easy to confuse them. And there may be more than one answer that applies, so you may not be using all of the 8 in there. You may only be using 5 of the 8 in there. So it's crazy. Right. It's not crazy. I mean, it's a good test, but it's just tougher.
Well, they always test you on what the topic is, that they really want to make sure that is going to be covered, because normally the higher level officials, they expect you to carry some of the burden of teaching the other officials. So they pound it into your head so that if you miss it, then you go and, look it up, hopefully, and learn it, and then teach everybody else. That's the idea.
So Karen joins us. Hi, Karen. She's saying, so the level is based on the number of answers you get right. Well, no, that's not the case. So you go in and you apply for what level you want to take. Whatever level you've earned, usually you can go up 1 level, with 4 being the max. So you need to be a 3 to take the level 4 test.
You need to be a 3 the previous year complete.
Right. But the thing is that if you miss more than the percentage that you're allowed on you take 50 question test in the level 4. If you don't get a 40, you are going to get bounced down. You failed the test, so you would be a 3. But if you don't get 35 out of 50 right, you will be a level 2. That is considered like an unacceptable fail rate, I believe, on that test. Is that the right number? Is it 35 or 34?
I'm not going to be stuck in it because I don't know the answer to it. Again, I mean, but I can explain why they went to that testing system and why you're penalized to go down to a level 2 instead of staying at a level 3. The issue is that several officials, more of the senior officials that work a lot of games that are smart. So what they would do is they would sign up for the level 4 test, and they would, they'd say, well, I'm not going to take the skating test. So they'd get a 0 on the skating test. They'd fail that. And then also they'd just go in and they'd, answer all C, answer all A, and it didn't matter because you just stay at a level 3. So what they did is they went and they designed this system so that if you want to do that, and, it's not being lazy, it's actually quite intelligent, for the guys that were getting away with it for all the years. You just stay a level 3. There's very little work. You don't have to really take your test, and you just stay level 3. So they put this system in order to curb that a little bit to try and calm down on that. That was the big reason on why that switch happened, because the first year I took my level 4 test, I was 20, 19, somewhere in there, and I did not pass very well. I didn't pass at all. I failed, and I would have probably gone down to a level 2 at that point. But also at that point, it wasn't a Scantron test; it was a write in the answers test, and it was very different than what we have now. And that test relied on. I remember the hardest part was, I think what is section 5 of the rule book, and I hadn't been in around long enough, and I didn't know the answer. Like,
wouldn't that be the rules, or would that be the glossary?
No, that'd be the officials. Section 1 is
5 is officials. Yeah, because there is a good way to remember this, guys. So go ahead.
Want me to explain it real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
All right. So section 1 is the rink, because if you don't have a rink, you're not going to play. It doesn't really matter. Section 2 is the teams. If you don't have a rink and teams, you're just not going to play. It's just common sense. Section 3 are what are the teams going to use? It's the equipment. Okay. So if you don't have a rink, players, and equipment, you're not going to have a game, right? Okay. Section 4, penalties. Okay. What are the penalties of the game? And if you don't have a rink, players, equipment, you wouldn't have to have penalties, right? Okay. Section 5, officials. Who's going to call those penalties? So if you don't have a rink, players, equipment, penalties, and a referee, you don't need any rules, right? Which is section 6. So it actually, I don't know who designed it, and I've explained that a million times to a lot of people. Whoever put the rule book in that order definitely outthinks me in the category of smarts, because I probably would have put in the penalties first, and then we would have talked about the rink at the end. But I get it, and I don't know if it was done intentionally, but it's a good way to remember it. So I learned that a long time ago.
Yeah, I learned that from you. I didn't realize how that was done, and Brad broke it down for me one day, and I was like, that's a good scenario.
It's either somebody explained how the rule book is designed in a very upper level thinking, or it was done intentionally, or it happened totally coincidentally.
I mean, we always question, like, when we see the questions and the tests and the seminars and the modules, we all sit there and go, I don't know, where did they come up with this stuff? But, those tests are written by what? Referee and chiefs write those tests? Is that what they do? They compile questions?
Yeah, the districts.
At district, okay. So,
the district's asked to do it.
It is our peers that create these tests. It's not coming from, like, an educational facility.
Well, the one thing is, normally if you see something on the test, it has happened somewhere. And it normally happens during nationals. And that's where, because they become hot button items. So then they go, uh-oh. And there are very complicated issues. It's like a player sitting in the penalty box, and they reach over and they turn off the score clock during the game.
Yeah.
They didn't.
They've never seen that happen, probably, but why?
But it happens. Like, okay, well, they didn't physically touch the scorekeeper, right? Well, but they did interfere with the game. Was it detrimental to the game? Was it? I mean, you have all these issues that all go into it. So it's if you see it on the test, it probably more than likely happened in a districts or a nationals, which I think they call it districts still, not sectionals or regionals or whatever they're calling it now. They've re-tiered everything so many times, I get confused. But yeah, a lot of this stuff happens, and it happens, and you're like, whoa, okay, that just happened out here. I never expected that to happen. And then a bunch of people get together and they're like, all right, we need to define this. The NHL, several years ago, there was a play in the playoffs where the puck went on I think it was Carey Price's back, I believe, and the defenseman takes his hand and puts it on top of the goalie, on top of the puck inside the crease. Well, until that time, the NHL didn't have a situation for it. So the 4 referees got together and they're like, all right, well, we know the crease is, defined what's painted on the ice. Okay,
right.
The crease goes to the crossbar.
Right.
Okay, well,
now, wait, I want to point something out there. I want to point something out. Did you hear what he just said, where the crease goes to? Right. In hockey, everything like the blue lines, the red line, everything goes to the sky.
All the other lines are indefinite.
All the way to the sky, indefinite, okay? But the crease goes to the crossbar. Good to remember, guys.
So it was an interesting situation. And, they came out and they said, hey, we got a penalty shot here, which, the NHL later sat down. Yeah, we do have a penalty shot. That's a great situation. Another example of that is many years ago, they had a player on a breakaway. He's coming down the ice. Guy high sticks him on accident, trying to hook his stick up, draws blood. Automatic double minor in the NHL. Injury, pardon me, caused by a high stick. But the guy's on a breakaway. So do we give him a penalty shot and a 2-minute minor? Or does he get 4 minutes and a penalty shot? So, they got together. And they said they went over and they gave him the option for the penalty shot, which I believe the player took, and then they put the guy in the box for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the NHL came out and said you can choose either or. You can take the penalty shot in the 2 minutes, or you can take the 4 minutes. So, but it's interesting because when it happened, I was in a camp right after that. The head instructor goes, "Well, what would you do?" And I said, "I'd never be in this situation."
Don't call what you don't know.
and everybody got a chuckle, but I was like, you got to try and do the best you can for it. What's going to happen? I mean, it wasn't a situation we had ever covered, but also then again, what do the rules allow for, and what makes the game fair?
Well, I've heard of the penalty shot and the major. Let's say like USA Hockey, you've got a player on a breakaway. And a player takes a swing at his leg like a baseball bat swing, a wild swing, and just crushes the guy with the stick. I understand that is a penalty shot, and you're going to serve the major penalty. You have to
serve all major penalties to completion.
Right.
No matter what else is going on. So
they're getting the penalty shot and the 5-minute major with that. So tough penalty.
And
remember that the next time somebody takes that baseball swing at somebody when they're, back checking and, they've got nothing else left to do but try to clobber the guy. So that's a good one. So a few of the other things we want to talk about today. So I just want to make it clear again to everybody out there that's watching. If you have not completed your registration, please get it done. We're going to need you. We believe hockey is probably going to make a return in early to mid-January, and it's going to be crazy because there's going to be more games than we can even think about, guys. You'll be working 3 or 4 games on a weeknight at the rate things are going here.
A friendly reminder, okay?
Friendly reminder.
Everybody did their closed book if they're a 2, 3, or 4. If you're a 2, 3, or 4 right now and you missed your closed book for whatever the reason is, or you forgot about it or whatever, I believe that they're trying to put together a makeup test. I don't know exactly when it is, but I think keep an eye out on IHOA or your local affiliate, and then USA Hockey and your district, and keep an eye out on that because there might be an opportunity if you miss that. So you have to have your closed book, your open book, your online modules, your screening, and then in some areas you have to pay what some areas would be called the affiliate fee. In other areas, their membership dues. Make sure that your dues are paid as well, because some of the smaller associations, they aren't equipped to handle, 500 people getting on their website trying to pay at once. So that it happens at seminars every once in a while where the system slows down, and it has to do with processing payments in a lot of areas at once. So just, those are some things that need to be done. And, go in, you can check your status at USA Hockey. And Scott, you know how to do that, right? You go into your profile.
Yeah, but I found it to be a little tougher this year to find your status. I don't know if you're feeling the same thing, but I thought the system was a little tougher this year within the website to find your status and to see where you stand. You just wait till you get your crust in the mail and you're good to go. But
again, back in the day, you used to be able to call in and find out what your test score was. You used to be able to call up, Colorado, and you put in your number, and they'd be like, "You passed your skating test. You got a 48 out of 50," and it would take 2 weeks to get your crest because there's everybody there. There's not that many people. Let's put it that way. Yeah, so they do a good job of getting everything out. So, but it's a lot of work. But we used to be able to do that. But now you can just go online and just remember you got to click on your officiating information. So.
And Karen brings up a really good point. She
And a
says,
safe-
do the
and safe
referees
sport.
have to
Thank you.
take the safe sport course? And the answer is yes. That is a part of it, everybody. And we take it every 2 years, or do we have a refresher now? Because this changed this year. We have a new system, I believe. So are we
Everybody
on the,
has a refresher.
so we have a refresher every year or every two?
So it's still going to be every 2, but because we
two.
switched systems, if you had renewed last season, like I did last year, so I did the refresher, and it literally took, I timed it like 7 minutes and 22 seconds. That was it. I mean,
took
from start
the-
to finish, it was quick.
Well, since the system did change last year, I'm on the opposite year, so I had to take it this year. So I took the full system this year, and it wasn't bad, guys. It was not like years past where it took like hours and hours to complete. So as far as that goes, I was much more comfortable with the amount of time it took. You know, and if you're a level, like if you're a veteran 3, you know, you are able to skip forward in some of the modules to get to the test. And if you know the material, then,
Right.
you know, it saves you a little bit of time. But it is time consuming, and you're going to have to get it done. And then the next big question, and maybe you know the answer to this, and, you know, we've kind of discussed this over time, and some of the people that have chimed in that watch the show on a regular basis said, you know, if we do have the opportunity to go back to hockey, and some of the guys, you know, just kind of bet on the fact that there's going to be no hockey and they were trying to save the money, which I get. But the reality of it is you have no credentials. You're going to have to take a seminar from somewhere. So will we have a seminar for them to take? And of course, the answer has been most likely they will do what they
Most
can
likely.
to get
There will-
everybody back in. But it still will take some time to put together, guys. It's not going to happen if they say hockey opens tonight. There won't be a seminar that night. Okay? There
Well-
might be a seminar that weekend, but it won't be that night. And it also won't be quick process because you're still going to have to take the USA hockey test. You're still going
Right.
to have to do everything. You're still going to have to do the modules. That takes a few days. You're still going to have to get screened. So I can't impress upon you guys enough that it's time to complete your stuff. And if you rolled the dice thinking there's no hockey this year, you know, you may want to reconsider, because if you want to work, they'll probably have a couple seminars that they'll do. And if you don't get in now, you're screwed until next year, September, October. Maybe we have some August.
July. We can start
July.
in July now.
Okay, so it
As
starts
long
July.
as long as they uphold what they did this year, it would be July.
Okay, and then you're good to go by August with everything getting done. But let's face it, you won't have hockey till really September unless you can find a men's league game. And for some of the leagues you can work, you probably don't even need to be certified in some of the rinks. Not the case in all the rinks. A lot of the rinks are USA hockey as far as that goes, so you don't have to be certified. But that's it. You'd be working men's league. Have fun with that.
There will
Somebody
will
says,
be.
"Oh, Mr. Zednick has joined us. He came in through the group, so he's only a Facebook user today." But he says, "Thank you, Scott." So yeah, my pleasure, Dave, and thank you for all you do for hockey and for all of us with the scheduling and everything else that you're involved in. I know you're a hard worker, so we appreciate you.
Scott, there's one thing I can say is if they said right now at 12:35 p.m. if they said we could play hockey and there were 40 people that wanted to do a seminar tonight at 7:00 at night, there would be enough people that would step up. I'm off
I believe
today,
that. I believe
and
that.
it would be just that fast. We're lucky we don't have to find a space. We don't have to. So I wouldn't stress too much. But the one thing I will say is for a little bit of our own knowledge, on Monday, I went and I looked at USA Hockey, and there are only 3 officiating seminars in the country posted right now. So they might be actually, I think one is tonight or tomorrow or something like that. And I think it's a level 3. So if somebody's a level 3 and need to take their USA Hockey seminar, you might want to try and get in on that.
Mr. Sullivan, let's cite your sources that hockey is starting. Who is the they? Who is the they? Yeah. See, Patrick,
We're on
the
a
way it
mission
works
from
in
God.
broadcasting, you don't have to reveal your sources, my friend. And I will not reveal my sources, but you could take my word for it that there's probably a pretty good chance that hockey's going to at least try to start up and see where we go from there. And, you know, the reason
Might
being,
start up and shut down.
you know, the players there's still skating going on, guys. The teams have been practicing. The teams are tired of practicing, but they've been practicing. They've been working on their skills. They've been doing their edge work. They've been doing their 60-second drills, their Minnesota miles, and everything else. They're just looking for somebody to go out there and tangle with, okay? Because they've been practicing for a long time. So they're ready to get some game action going here. And I don't blame them. You know, you can go to rat hockey all day long, but you still want the scrimmage part of the rat hockey. Skating around for 20 minutes with the puck doesn't seem to be much fun after a while. So, you know, it is what it is. We got a lot of other things we wanted to cover and talk about today too. So, you know, some of the schools, college probably not going to be starting up. Am I right, Brad? You've got some information on that. And
yeah, the Mid-America Collegiate Hockey Association, which, you know, luckily here in the Midwest, I mean, they have teams all around the country, but you know, there's quite a few teams here in the Midwest. They announced the 5th or 6th they're foregoing the season. The season's canceled,
right,
due to COVID, which is difficult
for some of the people that are watching. And you know, I didn't know the answer to the question either, so I had to look it up. And I asked you, like, so who are some of the teams? Like, there's a lot of local teams that are in that division or that conference.
Yeah,
Northwestern,
Northern Illinois, Aurora is in there. You know, there's about 45, 50 teams in there. I think Bradley's in there. I mean, those are just Illinois teams that I know of.
So these are the ACHA teams, am I correct? Like the ACHA college games that you would see on our schedule.
Correct. Or in your local. I mean, you know, it's still ACHA. That's the league they play under. So, but yep, it's you know, collegiate hockey. You know, but it's still good hockey. It's club hockey compared to, you know, school sponsored. But some of the schools, you know, do a lot for their players. So some of those kids can sometimes get a pretty good ride to play hockey for free, at least, and go to school while they're doing it. Keeps them out of trouble, hopefully, or gets them into trouble.
Or gets them into a little bit of trouble, but in good trouble. Hockey players usually good trouble. You know, they still get all the good basics of, you know, like getting up on their own, showing up to the bus on time, and managing their money, and, you know, behaving with other people, and, you know, being polite and being nice when they're out, and learning how to eat in a restaurant with other people, and, you know, things that, you know, not everybody learns. I mean, I know that when they talk about hockey, they think it's only about getting on the ice, but there's so much more to it, guys. It teaches you, it prepares you for, you know, for the business world, to be competitive and to, you know, to try to win, you know, and that's what it's all about, right?
Yep, I agree. So, and you know,
in the business world, they don't give you a trophy for showing up, by the way. You know,
that's true. Well, I've heard some stories from some of these ACHA guys, you know, and they'll play ACHA after they played, you know, the NCAA for a little bit, because they'll get like 1 year eligibility exemption or something like that. And you know, the teams don't mess around. If you're not at the bus at 7 a.m., they take off. They start driving. If you're running behind the bus, they make you run a little ways before they stop. So, you know, carrying a hockey bag,
you got to go to the next bus stop, like in Chicago. The CTA is not stopping for you there.
Yeah,
they are going.
No, so that canceled, and then we also got the news that the WHL, which is the Western Hockey League, you know, doesn't really affect us here in the United States, but you know, it does affect up north, and we're going to start their season January 8th, and they're going to postpone it and try to figure out when they're going to start. So with all these upper level leagues starting to fold, Scott, I mean, well, not fold completely, but as they're starting to step back, you know, I don't know, you know, we have a good source that hockey's going to start, but how optimistic are you, Scott? I mean, I'm optimistic because I'm a glass is half full guy.
Okay, you know, glass can be half full, it can be half empty. Either way, I think that you know, I was very optimistic that we would have hockey this year, and then, you know, it took a little turn and went away, and I was like, kind of interesting. You know, I've always been under the impression, you know, like with what's going on right now, that we would be in this situation come this time of the year when the flu season kicked in. So I think, I don't think that was unrealistic to think that, we're going to have a bad period of time with that. But I thought hockey would continue, and I thought we would play through it. But, you know, when we get the restrictions and the shutdowns and things of that nature, I think I started to have my doubts. And as you can see, college, because of the amount of time, this is mid-December, people are going into break. You know, the NHL started late, everybody pushed back. But, you know, like Minnesota, they have a high school season and they have a AAA season. Am I right? Do you know about that? Maybe you could explain it better to everybody, because I've never been involved in that portion. But they basically have like 2 seasons that they play. And what is it? They play high school first and then they play AAA, or vice versa?
They play the high school. They play their high school. I don't know exactly how it's, you know, they don't play tier 2 hockey basically the whole time, and AAA season. So they have a split schedule. It's called. A lot of places in the country do it. And I was fortunate enough to talk to somebody from Minnesota last night, and everything's still shut down up there. But you know, we should think about it, because the governor was supposed to make an announcement sometime today up there, and they were pretty sure that it was going to be around high school hockey. And because Minnesota high school hockey is big. If you went up there and worked junior hockey, which used to be the old Minnesota Junior Hockey League, you'd go there and your game would be at, let's say, you know, the Ice Box in South Bend, Ice Arena. It's, you know, below zero. There's like just maybe some parents, 50 or 60 people there. And across the street would be the high school varsity game. And there would be people going into this thing. The stadium was gorgeous. Their high school hockey is much more intense than a lot of places in the country. And they have huge rivalries, and you go in and they show off in these rinks. I mean, some of them have banners that are amazing, and it's a different culture up there. And I commend them for it, that they've made it so wonderful for the players up there that are playing in high school hockey, because, you know, it's a big part of your life when you're a high schooler. You know, it's cool to have, you know, all your classmates and, you know, everybody there cheering for you in the town. You know, if there's not a lot to do, if you're the thing to do at night,
how thrilling can that be
awesome
for somebody that's 16, 17, 18 years old? I mean, that's a once in a lifetime experience. It's unbelievable.
Okay. Scott, can you see who that Facebook user is?
Yeah, let's see here. That comes from Chad Green. So Chad says, developing youth and high school sports will resume January 4th with practices only. It has not been determined when games will be allowed. Discussion to begin soon with Minnesota State High School League and others. Thank you for that, Chad. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Chad. I knew it was coming out. I just didn't know when. And the person I talked to last night wasn't sure either. So unfortunately, you know, if I don't have the information, I can't look it up. But thank you, Chad. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. In Minnesota, you know, high school hockey, that brings in quite a revenue as well. So, you know, maybe they figure something out that where they can play in a limited capacity. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not up to us. Unfortunately,
how can they go without having the high school hockey hair from Minnesota? If they don't have a 2020 version of high school hockey hair, you know, that would just be wrong. That's all I can say. Some of these guys have been working on that flow for a long time.
They could put together fantasy teams, you know, of like the past years that they've done it.
Yeah.
You know, put together the best ones.
That's a good,
you know, everybody would be wearing different jerseys, but
if they're watching, they probably will. There you go. I like that idea. I don't think I'll get in there for the hockey hair for Minnesota. Brad and I are on the downside of our career for that. Yeah. Mine's not quite ingrown yet, but it's close.
That's okay. I have other attributes, so
right. There you go.
I'm wearing a hockey helmet normally 90% of the year anyways. Yeah. Even when I drive. It's safer for me.
Right. I don't see why guys aren't wearing those on their bicycles, okay? You got everybody in Chicago wearing a helmet on their bicycle, and yet they didn't wear a hockey helmet. I don't get it. Okay. We get something else we were going to share. We saw something that was kind of interesting online, and it's about all the teams, the NHL jerseys that they have. So this was like an honest review of every team's current uniform, from the classics to teams in need of a change. So we're going to run through some of these and have a few comments or whatever. And, you know, love to hear from you guys what you think. So let's see who we're going to start off with here. We're going to start off with the Anaheim Ducks. Okay, let me bring this up. Give me a second to pull this up. I think we could do this. So
I didn't.
Here we have
I
the
didn't get to
Anaheim
read this
Duck uniform.
whole article.
Okay,
But I did think it was cool.
so they would like to see enough is enough. Give the people what they want and bring back the original name, logo, and jerseys. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think that is definitely a uniform that could go back to the Mighty Ducks thing. The
Exactly.
other one that was big, I'm getting a delivery, so sorry about the bell
Of course you
ringing.
It's
Every
noon.
time it's Wednesday. This happens on both of my shows. My phone blows up like crazy. The doorbell rings. Everything is nuts when we got something going on. So we're looking at Phoenix Coyotes. Now I agree with this, and I don't know if they have is it called the Kachina? So if I'm saying that wrong, just call me out in the comments for that. But I really like that. I thought that was a great logo. I think they should 100% go back to that. Everybody else out there agree with us on that? I think that is.
I think this is a sharp jersey. When it came out, I was one of the people that bought it, and I thought this jersey was always sharp. The pattern that's on it too is very unique, in the trim, and I just everything about it just says almost minor pro hockey, but it's done so tastefully that it stands out. That it's a great jersey.
CCM makes those practice jerseys that are just, like a solid color. And I still have. I bought the green one, the dark green one with that logo like that on it because I thought it was just the baddest looking logo I had seen in a long time, and I really liked it. So totally agree that should definitely be a part of it. Now, Boston, they said Boston's 80s set, all-time classic. But what they don't like, people said, and I didn't even realize this, Boston always used to wear gold socks. I remember that with their home uniform, so they'd have the black jersey and the gold socks. And I guess they went to black socks. So a lot of people really feel like that should be changed, that they should go back to the gold socks at least. But they like the uniform overall. Buffalo Sabres have a total, like a new look. I think they improved the style of this a little bit, at least in the back. The numbers look pretty good. I mean
that's a throwback.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So, if they're going back to it, I commend them. I didn't understand the black and the red.
Calgary,
but,
they
that's
said,
where they went.
Dump the black crested lettering or flaming C alternate and develop a black third jersey based more on the retro look. Those look pretty cool. I like those jerseys. I could tell you a funny story about this jersey because I played in a men's league that we had these jerseys. This is back in like 1992 probably, and I was really good friends with Jocelyn Lemieux from the Blackhawks. And Joss got injured. One of the Russians did a number on his face and put about 50 stitches on the inside of his mouth. And in a Detroit game, I think it was. And
that would be the Russian five at that point.
Yes, and he stayed back from a road trip, and so was Steve. Steve Conroy was on the injured list at the time. So he invited me to come skate at the old Chicago Stadium, the real stadium, okay? And
did you check your bag for cockroaches afterwards?
Yeah, it was definitely a throwback place. But anyway, so I'm down in the Blackhawks locker room getting dressed, and I'm throwing my equipment on, and I throw on the jersey I have with me. What is it? It's Calgary Flame jersey. And the equipment manager comes in and says, "What the hell are you doing?" And I said, "What do you mean? What did I do wrong?" He goes, "You can't put the enemy uniform on and come out here." He goes, "There's a jersey up there. It was Steve Thomas's uniform, the black practice jersey. So I put Steve Thomas's practice uniform on for both the days that I skated there. And I went out with Steve Thomas's uniform on, which I thought was pretty cool. So I have a story for life to tell there. So
yeah,
that's my Calgary story.
There was a state championship, Scott. I don't know if you were around refereeing. State championship played at the United Center, and both teams brought their home jerseys. So the one team got to play in something happened where they ended up with both teams only had the same color. So they wore the Blackhawks practice jerseys for the state championship in order to
I did not know that.
Make them different. Yep.
That's very cool.
That was quite a few years ago.
Yeah. Let's see what one of our users, this is coming in from the group. And again, let me explain. I do this every week, but if you come in from the Facebook group that we have, which is Ref Room, then you don't get to see your name and your picture over here. So if you come in from one of my personal pages, which is Ref Room, or better yet, YouTube or Twitch, then we can actually see who you are. So this is Michael that says, why doesn't the NHL have color versus color? The only time I want to see white on the ice is when the Devils play the Blackhawks. Yeah, I mean...
Well, there's a number one. It's tradition to wear white and a color. Okay. Number two is light. It's light and dark, and there's a couple of basic reasons. Number one was when it was on TV, you could identify the teams better if one was wearing white and one was wearing dark. Then also think about this: if people have different degrees of color blindness, telling the difference between red and blue might be very, very difficult, but yet white stands out always.
Exactly.
So that would be the most common sense, basic question that I can answer it is that it would be, and I do know an official in Illinois, and he cannot tell the difference between green and blue. Yeah. And that's the only place that he has a problem, and they're both gray to him. He does not see green or blue. They're both gray, and they're very, very close. So if he gets green and blue, if they were against each other, he would have a lot of problems. So think of all the fans watching. Think of all the officials. Think of the players playing. So, it makes a lot of sense to be light and dark, and the referees wear light and dark stripes, white and black, because we represent both sides.
For the referees out there, you guys know when you get two teams that have, like navy blue and dark green, it's just tough. I mean,
tough.
Some of these colors are really tough to decide who's onside and who's offside sometimes. This is funny. So Carolina, they said, stop desecrating a grave by wearing the Whalers uniforms. So I guess they don't want them wearing the Whalers uniforms anymore. Blackhawks, they said the Hawks are going to keep the name and keep the logo. Which,
Scott, did you see this just because the Hawks came up and
and
I'm a Hawks fan and you're a Hawks fan and I know quite a few people aren't, and that's fine. I don't mind it. With the announcement, I believe I saw an article that the Cleveland Indians are going to change their nickname.
They haven't decided what it's going to be, but they definitely are changing.
Yeah, well, that scares me for my future of the Chicago Blackhawks.
I wonder. I mean, if they did have to make a change, could they just become the Chicago Hawks? I would think. That's what I would think too. I mean, I don't know if they would have to change the logo. I mean, that could be the big issue. It is still an Indian, so I don't know if they would have to, or if they would have to, become more of a Hawk. Maybe they'd end up going similar to what's the team in Indiana that has the Hawks jerseys, and they only have like the feathers from the Hawks showing. So,
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, they could go to something like that, or they could even take the crest that's up on the shoulder, the tomahawk, and they could go to that somehow.
Would be a good. I think that's a great switch. That's a classy logo too. I mean, the Hawks jerseys and uniforms, for many years have won. That people like it the best, and they've sold a lot of them. Not only when they were good, but it's a classic, and I think it's just tough to try and alter it. But the way the times are, if we have to, I'm sure somebody will have a better idea.
Now, I've never been a big fan of the Avalanche uniform. I'm not a fan. I don't really like the colors very much, and I mean, they're just saying fix the numbers and fix the names on the back of the jerseys, that they need more pop. They do have a weird typeface on there. But those aren't my favorite colors. I'll just leave it at that.
And I'm not going to lie, I love those jerseys.
Do you? So, that's what makes horse races. So,
I'm with you.
So now we're looking at Columbus.
Blue Jackets.
Yep. Now, they said deliver a full brand refresh. New logo, new jerseys. Google some concepts, because people on the internet have designed better than what the Blue Jackets are offering. Well, they do have that alternate jersey, right? That's like, I don't know, is that a Confederate? It's not a Confederate jersey, but it's some sort of a different jersey.
Well,
I
it's
thought it looked
definitely
pretty
not
cool.
it's
Yeah, I know
definitely
it's not
not the Confederates because they're the Blue Jackets for a reason.
Right. But there's something to do with the war that they had that one uniform. Isn't that their alternate uniform that they have? I don't have a picture of that. They didn't show it, but anyway, that was something. Dallas
I've only seen
Stars,
them wear it
tweak the
once.
logo, get better thirds, and maybe mix in a bit of gold. So they think they need to go back to like a North Star and get the gold back in there somehow.
You can't you can't go back.
I think these jerseys look great. Yeah, I like
I like the new logo. I think it came out really nice. It's simple, but yet it's standout on top of it. I like it. I know a lot of my buddies are Dallas fans, and I'm not kissing their butts. That's my opinion.
And here we go, Red Wings. Oh, there's nothing they could do better, except maybe play a little bit better, huh?
Hey, you know what? I love those jerseys too. I mean, I'm not a Red Wings fan, but it's a classic.
Yeah, it is.
And
Oilers, they think they should go to a brighter shade of blue. I always like the Oiler uniforms. I think they look pretty cool. I like that blue and the orange. I think they're classic. Yeah.
Yep.
Panthers, I don't know. These are better, I think, than what they had. They said include the stripe across the back of the jersey and introduce a navy alternate. I think a navy might be kind of nice for them. They're okay. I mean, it's just okay. I'll leave it at that.
They're there.
LA Kings. Take the Kings' 90s uniforms, their best base, and swap the black and silver with purple and gold. Yeah, I miss the LA Kings jerseys were so classic. I don't think these look bad. I like when they had
they're sharp.
The big King logo on the front. I like that. I thought that was better.
The big crown.
With the big crown. I like that a lot.
It's gold.
But the purple and gold, you just can't beat that. I mean, that's just so classic LA.
So Scott, I've had a lot of conversations with people. Why couldn't they wear this new, black and white jersey at home and then wear the purple and gold out on the road? I mean, you could have, because I don't think the purple and gold stands out as well when it's put on a white jersey. So you'd have to somehow maybe make the jersey gold with the logo on it with purple highlighting it. I mean, but I'm saying I think these white and black jerseys that they have for their away, I think they look good. I mean,
they do.
That's just my opinion.
Raider Nation. I think that's where that comes from. Yeah. They look good. I mean, but I still like the purple and the gold.
Purple and gold. Yep, I'm with you.
Minnesota. Let's see. Organization desperately needs some life and excitement inject to it into the brand. Refresh could go a long way. Just do something interesting for once. I actually like the colors of the uniform. I think the red and green is pretty cool. The logo is okay. I agree. It's good. It's not great. I'm sure they could probably come up with a better one. I kind of like when they had the original, the more of the red and green. I don't want to call it the pizza box because it wasn't quite the pizza box like New Jersey had, which was interesting. And I'm sure they were happy to get rid of those, but they were different. Mm-hmm. Montreal, a blue third could be fun. They said there's not much you can do to a Montreal Canadian jersey. It's a classic.
You can't make it any better.
Their 2020 Winter Classic jersey and logos were outstanding, so use those for inspiration for a full-time rebrand. Yeah, I like that one that they have that's got the mustard colored jersey. I thought was pretty cool that they had.
Yeah, I don't know. I like their logo though. I think that was well designed.
Introduce a black alternate. I agree with that. I think a black alternate jersey would be very cool for the Devils. They should definitely think about that. Islanders, I'm brave enough to say fisherman thirds. So they should have a fisherman third uniform. I don't know. I still like the old Islander uniform when it was that blue and orange. I think that was just a really good color combination. I'm a fan of that color combination. So take it or leave it. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. Rangers, bring back the Lady Liberty as an alternate. Yeah, that's a good-looking jersey.
See that.
That's a great logo. I love that logo. Mm-hmm. I think that's really very cool. Ottawa, mix in a red alternate at some point. There's the Ottawa. Back to our roots. They look good. They're nice.
I think maybe if they took the S logo that they have that's on their shells, and then put that onto a red alternate, because that logo is black.
Yeah. That might be
on their
nice.
shells. I think that would be a change, and that was suggested to me by somebody I was talking to in a rink. They were like, "Hey, the Senators could do that," and I'm like, "I never thought about it," and they're like, "Think about it," and I'm like, "I guess it could work," but that would be my suggestion, not the same Sens logo on the third.
Oh, here we go. The Flyers look is totally fine. As a fan of contrasting nameplates, they can get credit going back to the NHL team to employ better black thirds.
Better.
Okay,
All right.
those uniforms are nice. The only thing you could do is just get rid of the Flyers altogether, and I think that would make most Chicago fans pretty happy. But
well,
that's
did you
not
see
going to
the
happen.
proposed? Did you see the proposed alignment where they accidentally left the Flyers off of it? Did you see that?
No, I didn't, but I like it already.
Hey, the best way to have an alternate third is what they do is they make it probably mostly black, and then they put gritty on it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm telling you, that thing would sell like a hotcake.
Yeah, no doubt. Or come up with some kind of the Broadway theme that they had, from back in the day. All right,
Broad Street
Pittsburgh
Police.
ditched the yellow bucket on the current third jerseys. A black helmet would likely make those more palatable. Yeah, it does look a little collegey, doesn't it? What do you think? The yellow helmets?
I don't know. I
don't
mean,
think it's bad.
I like that they're using a different color helmet than white and black is. You see it in a lot of teams.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like it's all over the place.
You know who's got a cool looking helmet? Look at high school. Mount Carmel, that brown helmet actually looks
With the
really
orange
good,
stripe.
man. I think that is so cool. We don't have any teams with those colors. All right, San Jose, revamp the jerseys and add more striping
Back to the
accents.
90s.
Don't be afraid to reach back to the 90s. So San Jose, I've never been the biggest fan of the San Jose uniforms. So, I mean, I think they're okay. I think I like the cartoony look with the shark. I think that's pretty cool. The logo looks pretty cool. These jerseys are okay by me. I mean, these look pretty cool.
No, I don't have a problem.
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Bring me more of those wild Gretzky era sweaters. What do you think about that? You're a St. Louis guy.
I like it. It was a high time, especially for the Blues fans. But I do like how they had that diagonal stripe pattern at the bottom, and I thought it was a neat jersey at the time because all the other teams were wearing what you would call basically a classic jersey, and they brought this jersey out, and it was very different. I mean, I like it. I think it's good. I get where they want to bring this back, and I think it'd be a great idea. I think they were sharp at the time, and I still think they are.
Well, I've always loved the Blues logo. I think their logo is one of the best in hockey. I think it's a pretty cool look, and I think their jerseys have stood the test of time. So, Tampa Bay. Let's see. Transition their alternate logo, the circular crest with Tampa Bay Lightning Hockey Club, to primary. Then add black and silver accents into the mix on the jersey. Go back to the black breezers on the home uniform and ditch those horrendous black alternate jerseys.
I've never seen a game with them actually wearing the black jerseys.
I don't think I have either. I always see this
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen them wear it. So maybe it's a non-televised game or something. Because I've never seen it, so I don't even know what they're referring to.
All right, Toronto Maple Leafs. They just say win a playoff series.
Exactamundo. Well, I mean, Toronto, I love those jerseys.
Both the logos are classic, whether they go with the old school, which is the one you're seeing there with the leaf, or if they have the more modernized rounded leaf. I think they're both unbelievably good looking. Poor Canucks, poor Maple Leafs. I mean, I guess they're getting Joe Thornton, right? So they're expecting big things out of Joe Thornton. But they've given away so many players in trades. I mean, they've lost so many great players along the way. I thought Babcock was going to be, the piece that was going to make things work for them, and apparently that didn't work out very well at all. A lot of the players didn't enjoy him on the bench. Mm-hmm. So
that happens.
I hope for the Maple Leafs because I'm a huge fan. Vancouver,
I think the best part about those jerseys is the color of them, and then they have the highlighted white stripes on them, and it makes the whole jersey pop for Toronto.
Now Vancouver, I like the original logo. I thought the Vancouver jerseys, the blue and green, are the most amazing. Like when you had the blue and green gloves from Cooper back in the day when they started up, they were so cool. I'm not a big fan of this C logo that they have. I would rather they go back to their original logo. That's just me.
The fish
Golden
logo.
Knights to be determined, because obviously they're still fairly new. Uniforms look great.
They haven't been around.
Yeah, but they look good, and hey, they're winning, so it works for them. Leave them alone.
Yep.
The Capitals, let's see, modernized the throwback base jersey they've been using in recent years and utilized an actual logo, perhaps the Weagle. Yeah, I mean, I like the Capitals even when they just spelled it out across the jersey, kind of like New York used to do. I thought that looked good because it reminds me of playing, when I played for Minor Hawks. You just had Chicago across the front of your jersey, and it looked really good. Winnipeg Jets, classic.
Yep.
I love Winnipeg Jet uniforms. I think they're awesome, so we'll leave them alone. So that's it, guys. That's a little bit on what we thought about some of the uniforms. I thought that was a pretty cool article, and I can't believe it. We've blown through our time here already. So I want to thank everybody for sticking around with us today and joining us. We do this every Wednesday. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button so that you can find out when we are on. And we'll probably be talking a little bit more about hockey and hopefully opening up. We'll have some more details next week, I hope. And, we'll kind of see where we stand on this. Anything else you want to talk about in closing here, Brad?
No, we blew through that hour a lot faster, especially because we had a longer list written out than this. So it was fun. I like the jersey thing. We added that last minute.
Yep.
And that's because it just came out. I really enjoyed that. That was fun.
A little different. Change it up a little bit. If you guys have any ideas on something you'd like for us to talk about or cover, please send us an email. You can do that. You can send it to refroombrad or refroomscott@gmail.com. And let's see, what does this say? We got a comment here. Boys, I missed the ice. Been on my mind last couple of weeks. That comes from Kyle. Yeah, Kyle, we all miss the ice. And, some of us are getting a little thicker than others, so we could use hitting that ice. So definitely like to get back out there. So we'll keep our fingers crossed that things kind of open up here as we cross into the holidays. We got a special edition, the holiday edition next week. Let's pop that up here real quick. Let me take this comment down real quick, sorry. Real hockey stories in the men's league is told by you, the referees. So we do want to make that happen next week, guys, but we need some of you guys to send in some stories. I mean, you guys are all kind of quiet out there about that. If you've worked men's league, you got to have a story that you could share with us, okay? So if you do, send us an email.
A men's league story.
Yeah, just a good hockey story would be great. But, there's lots of stories in the men's league. Marty Tong, if you're still listening, I know you are a master in the men's league. You should definitely have a couple stories, and you should chime in. It would be very entertaining. So we'll try to pull that off next week if we get a couple more stories. If not, we'll have a little piece on that at least. So, and probably be talking about more of coming back to hockey. So with that being said, I guess we're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for joining us. This is the Ref Room. Again, we do it every Wednesday. Hit the subscribe button. Check us out. The replays will be up online. For myself and Brad, we thank you both for joining us. We will see you again next Wednesday. Have a good one, everybody. Peace.